St. Ignatius man sentenced to 6 months for assault. Tellys Ford, a 22-year-old laborer from St. Ignatius village in central Rupununi, has been sentenced to 6 months in prison after pleading guilty to charges of assault causing actual bodily harm. Ford appeared before his worship magistrate Omidat Chandan at the Lethem Magistrates Court today, where he was charged under Section 30A of the Summary Jurisdiction Offences Act, Chapter 802. Following his guilty plea, Ford received a 6-month imprisonment sentence for his actions, reinforcing the legal repercussions surrounding assault and bodily harm in the community. Three charged with obtaining by false pretense and forgery in Region 3. Police in Region 3 have charged 3 individuals with offenses related to obtaining by false pretense and forgery of an official document. The accused are identified as Paul Watson, 49, a driver from Old Road, Zeelugt, East Bank, Essequibo; Parvati Sharma, known as Paro, 58, a self-employed woman from Independence Street, La Grange, West Bank, Demerara; Omar Rudolph, 55, also a driver from Independence Street, La Grange, West Bank, Demerara. The trio faces charges of obtaining by false pretense, contrary to Section 194 of the Criminal Law Offences Act, Chapter 801, along with 4 counts of forgery of an official document, in violation of Section 245A of the same Act. These offenses were reportedly committed against a 43-year-old businessman from La Union Public Road, West Coast, Demerara, between September 2024 and May 2025. The accused appeared before his worship magistrate Rabindranath Singh at the Vredenhoop Magistrates Court, where the charges were formally read to them. They were not required to enter a plea at this stage. Each defendant was placed on bail amounting to $300,000 in relation to the charges, and the court has adjourned the matter until February 17, 2026, for further proceedings. Nigerian remanded for cybercrime offenses. Victor Alumazi, a security guard residing on Pear Street, Kitty, has been arrested and charged with multiple offenses under the Cybercrime Act 2018. Alumazi is accused of transmitting an image of a person's private area using a computer system, as well as committing 2 counts of using a computer system to coerce, intimidate, humiliate, or harass actions that violate the Cybercrime Act. On Tuesday, December 2, 2025, Alumazi appeared before Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, where the charges were formally presented. He pleaded not guilty to the allegations and was subsequently remanded to prison. The court has adjourned the cases to January 7, 2026, and January 30, 2026, for further proceedings. The situation underscores the serious nature of cybercrime and its legal implications in Guyana. Wanted man. Police seek public's help in locating Rajesh Jabo. The Guyana police force is seeking the public's assistance in locating a man identified as Rajesh Jabo, who is wanted for questioning in relation to an alleged rape incident. According to information provided by investigators, the offense was reportedly committed on October 8, 2018. Jabo's last known address is listed as Wellington Park Estate, Quarantine, Burbus. Law enforcement officials are urging anyone who may have knowledge of his whereabouts to immediately contact the nearest police station or call any of the following numbers: 225-6940, 225-8196, 226-7476, 225-2317, 225-8196, 227-1149, 600-9545, 333-2151. The police force continues to encourage citizens to assist in ensuring public safety by providing credible information that may aid in ongoing investigations. Tabatinga woman pleads guilty to cybercrime offense. Lorian Tony, a 34-year-old ambulance driver from Tabatinga in central Rupununi, has been sentenced after pleading guilty to charges under the Cybercrime Act 2018. Tony was arrested on September 25, 2025, for using a computer system to humiliate, harass, and cause substantial emotional distress to Maxine Hendricks, which is a violation of Section 19(2)(a) of the Act. On Tuesday, December 2, 2025, Tony appeared before His Worship Omidat Chandan at the Lethem Magistrates Court. She was fined $1 million GYD and received a 1-year prison sentence for her actions. This case highlights the ongoing importance of addressing cybercrime and the impact it can have on individuals within communities. Stricter vehicle tint regulations coming. Hefty fines for non-compliance. Motorists in Guyana face immediate testing and substantial penalties as the government prepares to enforce stricter regulations on vehicle window tints. By December 31, 2025, drivers must comply with the new standards or risk a fine of $75,000 for non-compliance. Minister of Home Affairs, Wanaj Walrond, explained that police officers will be equipped with tint meters to conduct on-the-spot tests. If a driver is found to have illegal tint, they will be subject to the heavy fines. To support this updated enforcement plan, existing legislation will be amended to clarify compliance checks, including the use and calibration of tint meters and the categories of individuals eligible for exemptions. Walrond noted that the amendment has already been drafted to enhance clarity and ease for the public as the new regulations come into effect. The overhaul of Guyana's vehicle tint regulations aims to establish a new national standard, allowing motorists until the end of 2025 to adjust their vehicles accordingly. The changes were prompted by a significant increase in tint waiver requests and reports of abuse within the previous tint system. Under the revised rules, all vehicles are now permitted to have tint with a minimum light penetration of 35%. Eliminating the need for a standard tint waiver. This universal allowance aims to promote equity and reduce administrative delays. While the old tint waiver system has been removed, the government has introduced 3 new categories of tint waivers designed for specific access and security needs. Categories 1 and 2 will be reserved for diplomats, government officials, high-profile security personnel, and other individuals approved by the Minister of Home Affairs. As these new regulations take effect, the government emphasizes the importance of compliance for road safety and law enforcement. Motorists are encouraged to ensure their vehicles meet the new standards to avoid penalties and maintain safety on the roads. VPAC warns. $75,000 tint fine could foster police bribery. The Vigilant Political Action Committee, VPAC, has issued a stark warning regarding the government's newly announced $75,000 fine for illegal window tinting on vehicles, questioning whether the measure serves as a genuine road safety initiative or merely adds another financial burden on ordinary citizens. With many police officers earning just over $100,000 per month, VPAC argues that this policy risks transforming law enforcement into a system of street-side negotiations, where a tint meter might serve as an unwelcome income supplement rather than a legitimate tool for safety. Guyanese already know what this means. Repeated stops, selective targeting, and pressure to sort it out on the roadside, the committee stated. While energy is being directed toward enforcing tint regulations, VPAC contends that more pressing dangers on the roads remain unaddressed. Issues such as reckless speeding, overloaded trucks, unqualified commercial drivers, and poorly maintained heavy-duty vehicles continue to plague communities and contribute to the deadliest accidents in Guyana. Instead of addressing the threats that take lives, we are prioritizing the shade of someone's window, VPAC emphasized. The organization advocates for a road safety strategy that is fair, evidence-based, and primarily focused on saving lives, rather than one that opens the door to abuse, harassment, and predatory enforcement. Until the real issues are confronted, this Tint crackdown will feel less like safety and more like the government finding a new way to collect money under the guise of law and order, VPAC concluded. As discussions around road safety continue, the committee urges the government to prioritize comprehensive measures that target the root causes of vehicular accidents and enhance public safety effectively. When leader criticizes President Ali for cash grant joke. Qaeda News reports, Azruddin Mohammed, leader of the We Invest in Nationhood, WIN party, has expressed strong discontent towards President Irfan Ali over a joke the president made during a recent oil and gas awards dinner. Mohammed condemned the remark as a cruel and degrading mockery of the Guyanese people, particularly emphasizing the struggles faced by the nation's impoverished majority. During his address at the Marriott Hotel, President Ali made a quip about cash grants that was met with laughter from the audience, described by him as fancy people. Mohammed stated that this incident highlights a disconnect between the president and the realities of ordinary Guyanese, arguing, "The address given by President Irfan hurt me to my core when he said, 'You really don't know Guyanese people. Instead of development, I might have to say cash grant.'" The WIN leader criticized the president's flippancy regarding cash grants, asserting that Guyanese citizens never requested such aid for Christmas. He pointed out, "You, President Ali, are the one who lied to them about a cash grant and tricked them into voting for the PPP." Mohammed referenced other oil-rich nations like Alaska, Norway, and Saudi Arabia that provide direct cash transfers to their citizens from oil revenues, stating that sharing the wealth generated from natural resources is a standard practice in such countries. Additionally, he claimed that the PPP government aims to perpetuate the notion that Guyanese are begging for handouts, contrasting this with the dignity and respect that all citizens deserve. "You walked into poor communities hugging the people while thinking less of them, and then you go back to your fancy people and make fun of the poor," he argued. "Respect is not for the rich alone. Power belongs to the people, and no one can mock their suffering without consequences, especially the president who is there to serve the people." In recent weeks, WIN has been pressuring the PPP to fulfill its campaign promise of delivering a cash grant to citizens ahead of the Christmas season. However, when questioned about the grant, President Ali recently shifted focus to the government's long-term development goals, stating, "While you may restrict your thoughts to just a cash bonus, this government has a very elaborate agenda for the upliftment of your life." The president emphasized initiatives aimed at improving healthcare, education, infrastructure, and overall prosperity for citizens, asserting that his administration is committed to delivering comprehensive benefits beyond mere cash grants. As discussions continue around economic support for Guyanese, the contrasting perspectives between the government and opposition highlight the ongoing dialogue about resource management and citizen welfare in the nation. Cantor driver granted bail on simple larceny charges. 24-year-old Cantor driver Condell Padmore was granted bail totaling $800,000 after appearing before Chief Magistrate, Acting Faith McGusty at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, facing 2 counts of simple larceny allegedly committed on separate occasions. Padmore, residing at Lot 106 New Housing Scheme, Sparendam, East Coast Demerara, is accused of stealing a quantity of textile fabric valued at $1.4 million on November 28, 2025, at Houston, East Bank Demerara. He pleaded not guilty to this charge. He faces a second charge for allegedly stealing 10 rolls of construction fabric valued at $1.5 million from Shahid Prasad on November 26, 2025, also pleading not guilty. In his bail application, attorney Melvin Duke argued that Padmore was merely following instructions from an employer to transport textiles from various locations, asserting that he had no knowledge of any wrongdoing. Duke contended that Padmore has no pending matters and posed no flight risk, as his family is well known in the Sparendam area. However, the prosecution objected to the bail request, highlighting the seriousness of the offenses, which involved high-value items and occurred on 2 separate days. The prosecutor noted Padmore's history with the legal system, mentioning previous charges, including robbery and simple larceny. The court heard that investigators had obtained video footage allegedly showing Padmore in the canter used to transport the stolen goods. The prosecution argued that the virtual complainant never authorized the removal of the items, raising safety concerns about the complainant as well. When questioned about the foundation of their objections, the prosecution could not provide evidence indicating that Padmore posed a real risk of failing to return to court. This prompted Magistrate McGusty to inquire whether the objections were based on solid evidence. Padmore explained to the court that he was instructed by his employer to make the pickups, admitting he is not well acquainted with Georgetown due to his East Coast origins. He stated that he followed instructions and assisted police in locating a drop-off point, claiming some stolen items were recovered. The prosecution contradicted this assertion, stating that no materials had been recovered. The magistrate asked Padmore to assist law enforcement in identifying the drop-off points of the remaining goods. After considering all submissions, Magistrate McGusty granted bail of $400,000 for each charge, totaling $800,000. Padmore is required to report to the Agricola Police Station every third Friday of each month and is scheduled to return to court on January 14, 2026. Residents of Belleview call for urgent action amidst hazardous conditions. Residents of Belleview have reported alarming living conditions as caimans have moved into the idle pump area, raising urgent concerns for the community, particularly for children. This afternoon, residents invited Mr. Mohammed and members of the We Invest in Nationhood, WIN, political party to witness firsthand the dire situation they have endured for the past 3 years, which has been largely ignored by local authorities. The community is grappling with deteriorating infrastructure, including an eroded and crumbling split concrete road, and a massive open hole filled with stagnant water where caimans have taken up residence. These conditions pose serious risks to families, especially children who frequently play near the area. The water's foul smell, coupled with a surge in mosquitoes, forces residents to seek refuge indoors by 5 p.m. daily. The contract for the Bellevue pump station, valued at approximately $865 million, was awarded to Tepui Incorporated, a company led by a controversial figure known for social media advocacy rather than relevant experience. Despite receiving an advance and interim payment totaling $160.894 million, reports indicate that almost no meaningful work has been completed as of August 2024, with similar findings confirmed in 2025. Concerns have been raised over the unreturned funds, gifted by the government. The situation points to significant oversight failures by the government and its agencies, particularly the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, NDIA, and procurement bodies. Billions of dollars intended for drainage and irrigation have been mismanaged, leaving communities like Bellevue to suffer from polluted water, crumbling roads, hazardous open pits, and a failed drainage system that leads to flooding. The Auditor General has been critical of the situation, highlighting notable deficiencies. Tepui Incorporated failed to meet 9 of the 18 evaluation criteria necessary for a valid bid, raising questions about the firm's qualifications. WIN and the villagers are calling on Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafaha and Vice President Barrett Jagdeo to conduct an on-site assessment and take immediate action to address these hazards, restore basic infrastructure, and clarify the status of the pump station project. Residents are urging strong governmental intervention to alleviate their plight and ensure safety in their community. Mayor Mentor discusses Stabroek Market Square development amid vendor concerns. News source Guyana reports Mayor Alfred Mentor has described the development of the Stabroek Market Square as a noble project, yet acknowledged that poor communication and inadequate consultation with vendors by both the Ministry of Local Government and the Georgetown City Council led to significant initial pushback. Last week, the mayor expressed surprise over the erection of construction walls in the market square, stating that many vendors were unaware of the project and voiced their frustrations. During an appearance on the New Day morning show on Gomosley Radio Today, Mentor confirmed that, while the Minister of Local Government Priya Manikchand indicated that the City Council was consulted during a meeting at the Central Housing and Planning Authority, the lack of thorough communication caused confusion among both the council and the vendors. Ideally, there was an opportunity missed to properly engage with all stakeholders, which would have allowed for a smoother transition regarding how the development should occur, without negatively impacting citizens or vendors, remarked Mayor Mentor. He noted that although he attended the consultation, it was brief with insufficient details regarding the project. The mayor admitted that the council should have asked about the implementation timeline and arrangements for the vendors. Had we probed deeper, we might have avoided the hiccups with vendors who were left wondering, he added. Reflecting on the issues experienced last week, Mayor Mentor stressed that both the central government and the mayor and city council must enhance their communication strategies concerning development projects and their potential impacts, both positive and negative. Despite the earlier challenges, he indicated that communication with Minister Manikchand has improved, which he believes is promising for the city's future. In terms of overall development, we've integrated plans for the Stabroek Market, the bazaar, and the vendors' arcade mall, ensuring vendors can operate in designated areas, he explained. The mayor emphasized that with the influx of oil funds, it is essential for the city to evolve beyond informal vending practices. City Hall has reportedly conducted feasibility studies on the redevelopment of the Stabroek Market and its surrounding areas, which would necessitate changes to the layouts for better access. However, he cautioned that such development comes with costs. Minister Priya Manikchand has assured vendors at the Stabroek Market that they will not be displaced for the time being, addressing some concerns within the community. As the project progresses, both the mayor and the minister are committed to fostering a collaborative environment that prioritizes the interests of vendors and citizens alike. Guyana government pursues lenacapavir to combat HIV. The government of Guyana is actively working to acquire lenacapavir, a groundbreaking medication that allows for HIV prevention through just 2 injections a year. Produced by the U.S. company Gilead, lenacapavir is currently priced at $28,000 annually for HIV treatment in the United States. However, it is expected to be available at a significantly reduced cost of $40 per year in low and middle-income countries starting in 2027, under a new partnership involving Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, UnitAid, the Clinton Health Access Initiative, CHAI, and WITS RHI. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony stated that local officials are in discussions with international partners to ensure Guyana benefits from this deal. There's a new drug on the market that we're working to acquire, and that's lenacapavir, he said. It's an injection, and once taken, it provides protection for 6 months without the need for additional medication. Dr. Anthony noted that while lenacapavir is very costly in the U.S., the medication is expected to go off patent within 1 to 2 years, potentially allowing for cheaper access in the future. A lot of people believe this could be a game changer in terms of HIV care, and we're collaborating with our partners to see how we can access this medication, he added. Clinical trials published in the New England Journal of Medicine by UnAIDS show that lenacapavir is 96% to 100% effective in preventing new HIV infections. UnAIDS estimates that granting access to this medication for 20 million individuals, including men who have sex with men, sex workers, people who inject drugs, and young women and adolescent girls in sub-Saharan Africa, could drastically reduce new infections and accelerate efforts to end AIDS by 2030. In Guyana, approximately 449 new HIV infections were recorded last year. Currently, pre-exposure prophylaxis, PrEP, is available in the country through public health programs, offering individuals at risk of HIV an opportunity to prevent infection. If you believe your lifestyle puts you at risk, you don't have to wait until you contract HIV, Dr. Anthony encouraged. Come into the ministry because we have PrEP available to treat you proactively. If you happen to be in a relationship with someone positive for HIV, using this PrEP can help prevent infection. He reassured the public that the ministry is non-judgmental, emphasizing that individuals seeking help will not face intrusive questioning. As the government continues its efforts to secure lenacapavir, officials aim to make significant strides in improving HIV care and prevention in Guyana, ultimately enhancing public health outcomes in the country. Government activates additional speed cameras in Region 3 to enhance road safety. The government of Guyana has announced the activation of additional automated speed cameras and radar speed signs across Region 3, Essequibo Islands, West Demerara, as part of the next phase of the Safe Road Intelligence System, SRIS. This expansion aims to strengthen road safety enforcement, curb reckless driving, and reduce accidents along one of the country's busiest traffic corridors. Managed jointly by the National Data Management Authority, NDMA, and the Guyana Police Force, GPF. The SRIS has already introduced an automated speed ticketing system earlier this year. The new phase includes more radar speed signs and high-definition cameras positioned strategically at major intersections, high-traffic routes, and areas known for frequent accidents. The SRIS utilizes a secure, cloud-based platform that automatically detects speeding violations, issues tickets, and notifies drivers through the contact details registered with the Guyana Revenue Authority. Registered motorists will receive notifications via SMS or email, while those without digital contact information will receive physical tickets by mail. President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali emphasized that this initiative is focused on enhancing road safety rather than generating revenue. This system is designed to make our roads safer, smarter, and more secure for all Guyanese, he stated, reaffirming the administration's commitment to leveraging technology for improved traffic management and accountability. Motorists in Region 3 are urged to adhere to posted speed limits, remain vigilant of the newly installed radar signs, and exercise caution, particularly in densely populated or high-traffic zones. Drivers can check for outstanding tickets by visiting the online portal at speed.gpf.gov.gy to ensure compliance and avoid potential legal actions. Offenders who neglect to settle their fines promptly may face legal repercussions. If a motorist fails to respond to a court summons regarding an unpaid ticket, a magistrate could issue an arrest warrant for their failure to appear. Continued non-compliance may lead to further legal penalties. The expansion of the SRIS in Region 3 marks a significant step forward in the government's commitment to technology-driven law enforcement and data-based public safety initiatives. By integrating automation with transparency, the initiative aims to reduce collisions, save lives, and cultivate a culture of responsibility on Guyana's roads. Clarification on media report. Alleged break-in at CANU headquarters construction site. The Ministry of Home Affairs has issued a statement clarifying recent media reports that suggested a break-in at the headquarters of the Customs Anti-Narcotic Unit, CANU. The report, titled Duo Granted $75,000 Bail Each for Breaking into CANU HQ, has led to some misunderstanding regarding the nature of the incident and the status of the facility involved. The ministry emphasizes that the building in question is not an occupied CANU headquarters. Rather, it is an active construction site for CANU's new facility. The site has not yet been handed over to CANU and remains under the control of the contractors, who are responsible for all security and safeguarding measures in accordance with standard construction protocols. As such, the incident does not indicate a breach of security at an operational CANU facility, nor does it reflect on the security systems, protocols, or overall performance of CANU. The Ministry of Home Affairs urged media outlets to verify the operational status and control of facilities mentioned in their reports, confirm ownership of properties involved in alleged offenses, avoid characterizations that could mislead the public or misattribute responsibility. The ministry remains committed to maintaining high standards of security across all its agencies and appreciates responsible reporting that reflects the true circumstances of incidents.